Welcome to Daily Buzz News. One of Gauteng's most violent days, a Zimbabwean fugitive kills 2 detectives in Roodepoort. A prison search turns deadly in Oudtshoorn, and 4 cash-in-transit robbers are gunned down in Randfontein. These events reveal the dangerous realities our police and correctional officers face daily.
Zimbabwean robber kills 2 South African cops and flees, prisoner stabbed to death, for cash-in-transit gunman shot dead in police shootout. Highlighting the dangers faced by those on the front lines of law enforcement and the hidden tensions within the country's correctional systems. It all began with a routine transport gone horribly wrong, involving a Zimbabwean national named Jabulani Moyo, who stood accused of a serious business robbery from back in February 2023. Moyo, a man with a history tied to cross-border criminal activities, found himself at the center of a deadly encounter that claimed the lives of 2 dedicated South African police detectives. This incident, occurring in the morning on Friday the 8th of August, in the Roodepoort area, set off a massive manhunt and has raised questions about how such a prisoner could turn the tables so dramatically on his escorts. Specialized unit focused on tackling house robberies, business robberies, and car hijackings, had just completed what should have been a straightforward task. They had escorted Moyo to the Roodepoort Magistrates Court for his appearance related to that earlier robbery case. After the court proceedings wrapped up, the officers began the drive back to return Moyo to prison. The sergeant fell right there on the spot, declared dead at the scene by paramedics who arrived quickly but could do nothing to save him. The warrant officer, gravely wounded, was rushed to a nearby hospital, only to be pronounced dead upon arrival. In the aftermath, witnesses reported seeing Moyo himself behind the wheel of the police vehicle, speeding away from the area. The car was later discovered abandoned just a few kilometers from where the shooting took place, and the engine was still warm but the driver was nowhere in sight. Police investigators have pieced together that Moyo, identified as a Zimbabwean citizen, had somehow managed to escape during or after the attack. Questions are lingering about whether he acted alone or had help from accomplices waiting in the shadows, perhaps others involved in the same criminal networks that had led to his initial arrest. A widespread manhunt was immediately launched, with appeals going out to the public for any information that could lead to Moyo's capture. People are encouraged to contact their nearest police station, call the Crime Stop hotline at 0860010111, or use the MySAPS app anonymously to share tips. This escape and the loss of the 2 officers underscores the risks that members of the trio task team face daily. These detectives, trained to handle high-stakes crimes, often operate in unpredictable environments where robbers target businesses with precision and speed. Moyo's case dates back to that February 2023 incident, where he was linked to an armed takeover of a business, though details of the exact location and methods used in that robbery remain part of the ongoing court proceedings. It happened in broad daylight in a busy part of Roodepoort, a suburb in the west of Johannesburg, known for its mix of commercial activity and residential areas.
Yes, let me start by saying the information is still sketchy for now. We are still investigating to find out what really transpired. But what we can confirm is that 2 of our members were shot and killed this morning at about 10:30. They are the detectives. They are attached to a trio task team. One is based in Florida, detectives, and the other one in Roodepoort, detective. So this morning, they went to fetch a suspect of business robbery who was appearing at Roodepoort Magistrate Court. So after the court appearance, then they were transporting him back to Boksburg prison. So when they were in this road, is then that they were shot and killed. For now, we are not sure if it's the very same suspect that they were transporting who shot at them, or there are other suspects that stopped our police officers. So that one is still under investigation. But what we know is that they also took both firearms of the police officers, and the suspect drove away with the vehicle of the police vehicle. It was an unmarked Toyota Corolla, but the car was later found abandoned a few kilometers from here. So the suspect is still at large. So the suspect was arrested in 2023 for a business robbery. So that is the case that he was appearing for here in Roodepoort. He is a Zimbabwean national. His name is Jabulani Moyo.
Meanwhile, the National Commissioner of South African Police Service, General Fanny Masemola, has deployed maximum resources to trace Jabulani Moyo. A multidisciplinary team consisting of crime intelligence operatives, detectives, as well as the Gauteng DPC tracking teams and the Hawks, are on the ground actively searching for Moyo. General Masemola is also calling on all people living in South Africa not to harbor this dangerous Zimbabwean criminal who is in possession of a SAP state firearm. The same firearm that he stole from one of the officers is the same firearm that was allegedly used to kill the two detectives. General Masemola said Moyo must be stopped in his tracks and he can only be prevented from committing further crimes if the community cooperates with the police by providing us with information on his whereabouts. Masemola added that Moyo is a dangerous criminal and police operatives are on the ground looking for him to prevent him from committing any more heinous crimes. He said police will not rest until they find him, and he also warned him to hand himself over to his nearest police station.
Galibitso Kesemi, and as you've said, Lieutenant Fondosinto is my cousin. What happened is yesterday, as they were transporting a suspect from the Roodepoort Magistrate Court, they were taking the prisoner back to Boksburg. And when they stopped at the garage, we were told, Hore, that's where everything started happening. But unfortunately, as the family, we only knew about this after everything had happened. Like for one, I was in Centurion when I was listening to the news on Radio 2000. When I heard the news that there were two police officers Balungore were shot, Roodepoort. It didn't click on my mind to say it could be my cousin. I was thinking because Lena gets a Roodepoort, it's one of the incidents and what gets ahead. But I only got to know about it. It was after 4 in the afternoon when I got to know about the whole situation, when one of my cousins as well andromela a confirmation to say it is indeed our cousin Fondosinto. Oh, what a wonderful person he was. He was a family uniter. He was a very gentle person. Between me and him, we had some form of a connection. It was like we were brothers, not cousins. Yet, Kasset would say, oh, yes, we are brothers. You know what I'm saying? But an ever-smiling person. A person, when there used to be family events, he would always be there. A person who would bring the two families from the mother's side and the father's side together. Wherever there used to be issues, I would call him and he would always advise me. Whenever he had issues, things that he wanted to talk about, we would talk on the phone, we would talk on WhatsApp, but he was a very gentle person.
The trouble had roots in a search operation conducted the day before, on Wednesday, aimed at uncovering hidden contraband within the facility. Specifically, inmates in room 005 of the A section initially resisted the efforts of correctional officials to enter and inspect their living quarters. Despite the pushback, the officials persisted, using necessary measures to gain access and proceed with the search. By the end of it, they had confiscated a range of prohibited items, including cell phones and narcotics, which pointed to ongoing smuggling issues within the prison walls. The inmates' resentment from this intrusion simmered overnight, leading to what authorities described as a planned retaliation the following morning during the standard unlock procedures. Tragically, one of the inmates involved in the clash sustained severe injuries during the altercation and, despite receiving prompt medical care, did not survive. This death prompted a full departmental investigation to examine the circumstances, following established procedures to ensure accountability. In response, the correctional center implemented strict measures to restore order. Those inmates believed to be directly responsible for the stabbings were isolated in single cells while awaiting disciplinary actions. The A unit underwent another thorough search, which turned up additional weapons that had been concealed. To prevent further incidents, all offender activities and visits were suspended indefinitely, allowing time for the situation to stabilize. The National Commissioner emphasized that maintaining safety for both officials and inmates was the top concern, and the event was being reviewed to identify any underlying factors that contributed to the escalation.
We could serve breakfast lunch and dinner without any interruptions. And the offenders which were involved in that fracas were moved to single cells as we're able to identify the instigators. So at this stage, everything is running smoothly, but we're leaving nothing to chance. Hence, the facility remains on lockdown. No visitors allowed. We'll continue to assess the situation. Thereafter, we'll then open up for visits. The searches that are involving head office, centers on their own do conduct routine security operations where they search facilities. So the one that happened at Oudtshoorn was a normal security search by the facility, and unfortunately they met resistance from offenders who refused to be searched, a conduct which is completely unacceptable. You must have realized that when you conduct these searches, they are done humanely, with respect to other human beings. There is absolutely no reason why a person will say, I do not want to be searched, unless someone is hiding something. And indeed, there were things that they were hiding there. But what is disturbing us even more is the fact that on the following day, which was the 7th of August, they will even engage in an act of retaliation, where they went for officials, stabbing 3 of them seriously. The other one was minor scratches. But as a department, we are concerned, and we believe that the situation, could have, didn't have to go to the extent that it went where even one offender ended up losing his life.
With police. This happened on Tuesday morning, specifically around 9 o'clock on the 5th of August 2025, along Ventersdorp Road in the West Rand area. The operation stemmed from intelligence shared by the Eastern Cape Crime Intelligence Unit, which tipped off Gauteng authorities about a group planning to rob a local businessman en route to deposit a large sum of cash at a bank. Acting on this information, a joint team including the Gauteng Tactical Response Team, the Anti-Gang Unit, and personnel from Fidelity Security positioned themselves along the suspect's expected path. The suspected CIT heist criminals were traveling in a white Toyota Starlet, a vehicle that matched the description provided by the intelligence reports. When officers attempted to stop the car, the occupants responded by opening fire, leading to an intense shootout. In the end, all 4 men inside the vehicle were fatally wounded, while no police or security personnel were harmed. Further examination revealed that the car had been fitted with false registration plates, with the real ones hidden in the boot, a common tactic used by criminals to avoid detection during their operations.
We received an intelligence report from crime intelligence from the Eastern Cape about suspects who are planning a business robbery. They were going to rob a business person who was going to bank some money, and then they linked with us. We tasked and deployed our technical response team, TRT, Amaberet. We also then tasked our anti-gang unit to intercept them so that no crime is committed. And just on the road here, when the police tried to stop them, it's unfortunate you can't get closer to the car. They started shooting at the police. You can see rifle cartridges there. You can see pistol cartridges even at the back seat from inside. And the police had no choice but to defend themselves. And at the end, 4 of them suspects are lying there. They are gone for good date because they were taking chances. For now, investigation is still on. But what I want to highlight also is that on the vehicle, we found the number plate that is placed on the vehicles. It's a false number plate. The correct number plates, we managed to find them in the boot. We managed to recover also a rifle with a lot of magazines. We managed to cover 2 pistols. For now, we don't know whether there's more arms or any other thing in the vehicles. But it is a criminal group. Obviously, if the information came from our crime intelligence in the Eastern Cape, now we can't rule out that they operate everywhere they think it's good and soft for them. But there is no soft space for criminals in this country.
Adding an intriguing detail to the discovery, items of traditional medicine, often referred to as muti, were found scattered on the seats and even on the petrol tank cover. A sticker proclaiming prayer is the key was also present, creating a stark contrast between the suspects' apparent reliance on spiritual or cultural protections and the reality of their criminal intentions. Police officials noted that such elements sometimes appear in cases involving organized groups, though in this instance, they did not prevent the interception. The suspects were believed to hail from the Eastern Cape, part of a network that operates across provinces, targeting businesses and high-value transports like cash deposits. Just days earlier, on the 30th of July 2025, 5 suspects were killed during an attempted cash-in-transit heist in Carletonville, also in the West Rand, based on intelligence linking them to a prior robbery in KwaZulu-Natal. Earlier in July 2025, 3 suspects died in a gunfight in Riverlea, south of Johannesburg, after committing a business robbery in the city's central district. Another incident in Mariannhill resulted in multiple fatalities during a police operation. These recurring clashes pointed to a surge in armed groups focusing on businesses, often involving syndicates that move between provinces. Gauteng, as South Africa's economic powerhouse, has grappled with over 1,200 business robberies reported in the first quarter of 2025 alone, many featuring firearms and leading to loss of life. The Randfontein operation showcased the value of proactive, intelligence-driven policing, where tips from other regions allow for swift action to prevent crimes before they happen. The Deputy Provincial Commissioner highlighted how the collaboration between units and even private security firms like Fidelity helped avert what could have been a devastating robbery, protecting the businessman and his assets without prior warning to maintain operational secrecy. Moyo, as a foreign national implicated in robbery, exemplified how borders do not always contain criminal activities, with networks extending from Zimbabwe into South African urban centers. His ability to flee in a police vehicle raises concerns about vulnerabilities in prisoner transport protocols, especially for high-risk individuals facing serious charges.
Thanks for watching Daily Buzz News.